How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing tonight? Okay. All right, a couple announcements. Registration for summer 1 and 2 begin March 26th at 9 p.m. If you don't have that down on your calendar, you might make note of it. Also, what else we got coming up here? If you don't want interested in coding, we have a free hour of code at the mall the first Tuesday of every month. You can RSVP. There's still a few seats left. It's on the second floor by Maurice's and Charming Charlie's. couple stats I found last week that was interesting. One was on U.S. News and World Report. Ranked software developers as #1 best job in America. Statistician #2, physician's assistant #3, dentist #4, orthodontist, and nurse anesthesiologist. Physician's assistant's a big one. I don't know if a lot of doctors' offices now have physician's assistants instead of doctors. I've noticed last couple of years. There's an interesting stat. Then high schools that offer computer science in Illinois, only 27%. And last week, while we're on break, the 30-year anniversary of the World Wide Web took place, and there was one of the original web browsers, Netscape Navigator, was created by 2 Illinois college students from UIUC. You might not have known that. The very first web browser. And then again, just make sure registration March 26th at 9 p.m. for all of our summer 1 and summer 2 courses. Questions on that? Cool. And if you haven't yet bookmarked our website, myrbc.org, all the news I just mentioned is right on the homepage. You can also set up an appointment with an advisor if you need connect to an advisor to talk about course selection, things of that nature. You can fill out a form. There's also a whole bunch of e-brochures on all of the courses and some alumni, things like that. Avail yourself to all those e-brochures. And then all of our certificates are also over here that you can click on and view all of them, along with events. And these are all the events coming up. We do have, I mentioned in here, we do have on every Wednesday I do in this class, we do it now, from 5 to 6:30. I do a Girls Who Code Club. It's an after-school club from grades 5 through 12. If you know any young women in that age range, then they're more than welcome to come. They can pop in and out as a lot of them have school activities and sports and stuff. So more than welcome to come to that. And you can come too if you want to hang out and learn some stuff. We always have, I think we're getting ready to start this week, Scratch 3.0, which is a fun drag and drop coding environment. They're going to do it on Fashion Week. They're going to do coding applications on fashion. And so I think one of the fashion models, I think I remember her name, has a coding workshop she put together. Let's see, what's her name? Let's say her name, you've probably heard of her. Code with Klossy, Carly Kloss. You guys ever heard of Carly Kloss? She's a model. She also is a developer, and she teaches young girls to code as well. She created a company called Code with Klossy to teach young women entrepreneurship with application development. She developed all of her mobile apps for her career. That's kind of cool. Now we're going to look at some of the stuff you guys have been submitting. If you've yet to submit anything since we've been gone on break, go ahead and do so. If you had issues with submitting something, which I know of a few people did, you emailed, maybe didn't show up. We had one issue tonight on that. So just you can email the picture to me if that's the case, and I can upload it for you. That's no problem. Okay, so we'll look at the, let's see, the Painter or the Restore one first. We'll do that one. And I'll just try to go over some of these here. I'll try to do a before then and after. Okay, so here is a before. Let's see if I can. Let me see if I can rotate. I believe I can. There we go. All right, so there's a before. And is this family? Yeah.
It's my dad and his siblings.
Your dad and his siblings, cool. So everybody has photos like this somewhere in your family, right? And you got some creases in it. Looks like it's got a big one here on. Is this your dad?
It's ma'am.
Your uncle? Which one? Is this your dad here?
No, he's the little guy.
He's a little guy. He's right here. So right here, some type of tear on the photo. I'm guessing from water, whatever. Usually what happens. So let's look at the after. So creases, I automatically notice those are gone. Filled in and smoothed out the spot here. Cool. You have fun doing that? Yeah. And did you use for the tool? Well, what tools did you use to do the restoration?
The spot healing and clone stamp on Pixlr.
Those are both really good. Spot healing and clone stamp, and they're available for both Pixlr and also for Photoshop, either one, which are. I think you said you use Photoshop, right, for this one? Pixlr has the same tool available as well. All right, let's look at the next one. Let's see. Before. Let's see. Whose is this? Is this yours? Okay. Is this family?
Yeah, that's me and my mom, my dad.
All right, cool. You're a few years younger there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 3 months.
There you go. All right, so that's the before. Let's look at the after. So did you, what did you do the photo before and after?
Again?
What did you do to the photo?
Oh, I used the clone stamp
Mhm.
and the other one. So,
Healing?
yeah.
Healing, okay, cool. Well, good job. Next, let's see, before. Whose is this? Yep. Family member? Yep. Well, this is a good example. It's got, and we've all pictures like this too. It's got a crease here, kind of a crease tear. Everything else isn't too bad as far as the quality of photos. Kept pretty well. So we got rid of the creases, got rid of the tear. Because everything else besides that looked pretty decent already. So, and what tools did you use for that? Okay, cool. Yep. Great, good job. Let's see this here before. Whose is this? Right here. So this one here, black and white tattoo. Looks like it says granulated, pretty well granulated here. This is, yeah, you're gonna see the granulation in that. Now let's look at the next. Wow, good artistic effect on that one. It was pretty cool. So we got rid of the old boring black and white and put some artistic, and even cleaned up the tattoo. It's much clearer. It looks like from here anyway. Looks much clearer. So whose is this? This person here? Okay, cool. Family?
Yeah, I think it's like my mom or sister.
Mom and sister. Okay, cool. Not too bad of shape and pretty good quality. It's a little pixelated, blurry, maybe, possibly. Oh, okay. Cool. Much brighter. Made the colors come out a little bit more. Clone tool.
I use plus stamp like cover my punches.
Yeah. You use the saturation for the colors, or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think I may overdone it.
No, that looks good.
Any quote for Photoshop.
No, it looks fine.
Right now, so for looks I don't have like an actual.
Yeah, the colors are much richer for sure. So good job. Okay, let's look at another one here. Whose is this photo? Family? Cool.
Yeah, it's my mom and dad.
Your mom and dad, is that you?
Yeah.
Sweet.
When I was 3.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
I did that when I was actually 3 years old.
3 years old.
Yeah, so it was about time and he had a heart attack. So this
Yeah.
picture is the only one I had. I was excited actually to do that.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, this is a good example too. It's got, probably folded in a Bible or something like that over the years, probably. And that's not uncommon for family photos for that to happen. Everything else is in fairly decent shape as far as the image itself. There you go. And so what'd you use to get rid of the crease?
Oh, mostly phone stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good job. We'll look at the before and after on that one. It's pretty significant. Right over your nose.
Yeah.
And then boom. Good job. Now you've done these before, correct? Have you worked in Photoshop or Pixel?
Yeah, I've learned.
Yeah.
I learned, but I don't have experience, but
Yeah.
I've learned.
Okay. Well, all these that you're doing, even if have done it for a while, it's time consuming. Definitely. It doesn't to clean it up really nice takes time. So that's okay. Good job. All right, let's see here. Looks like you got a before on that one. I don't have an after. Let's pick 2. Okay, how about this one? Family?
That's my grandma and grandpa.
Grandma and grandpa. Wow, that's a cool picture. Outside frayed a little bit. The image itself isn't bad for a few years old, I'm guessing. All right. A little faded out, but oh yeah. Looks like you cleaned it up quite a bit and made it a little bit brighter. And so what tools did you use for that? Okay, cool. Well, good job. All right, and then we have this before. Who's this? Family members?
Yeah, my stepdad.
Yeah. Is a band?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, my dad was in a band. That's why I know. They always have their goatees and their suits they have to wear.
A magazine, like 19.
Oh, really? Cool. Awesome. Well, in pretty good shape. I mean, it's got a few creases here at the bottom, on the sides, but let's see what you did to it. Oh yeah, cleaned it up quite a bit. Got rid of all the creases at the bottom and on the sides. And so what tools did you use for that?
Oh, it's just a lot of fun.
Cool. Good job. All right, and we'll do one more here. Whose is this photo? Family?
My sister.
Your sister, okay. Overall, pretty good quality photo. This is the before. Let's see what we did with the after. All right. It was maybe a little too bright, maybe originally.
I tried to take a look. She was so red. I tried.
Yeah.
I
It looks
messed
more
up
natural.
with the color.
Yeah, the skin tone looks more natural here than here. Yeah,
It's
this,
not as crisp, so I don't know if I succeeded or not, but
no.
it's fun to play around with it.
Yeah. And what tools did you use to do that? Do you remember?
I did everything from hue to saturation to,
Uh-huh.
anything I could mess with.
Right. Well, good job. All right, so that's a few of those. And then we'll look at the next one, the panos that have been submitted. Again, if you haven't submitted either one, do so between now and Sunday would be great. And the way the panels worked on that tool, that Dermander, I don't believe it was easy for you guys to save that, if I'm not mistaken, to your computer. Some people had issues with it. So I told those who did ask just to do a screen capture of the Demander and save it, possibly. But I believe there was a way to save it, but it wasn't evidently real easy to do. So whose is this here? Yours? Okay. And how many photos was this in total?
That's weird. I tried taking close places, but it didn't look seamless enough. I found this like one setting here that's kind of the panorama for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
And how many photos was it? You don't know?
I guess it was kind of like one big photo.
One big photo. Okay. Gotcha.
I just did the panorama thing.
The panorama. That's fine.
Trying to figure out all the other stuff.
No, that's fine. And whose is this? Whose? No? Okay. Not here. This one? This one. All right. How many photos on this?
3.
Huh?
3, I think.
3? Okay, cool. So, yeah, no, that's good. That's about normal, between 3 and 5 on most panoramas. Most, cause their circumference is about a 180. So if you have it like this is a circle here, you go that, through the middle of the circle, about 5 to 6 pictures usually at the most. Whose is this? Okay. And this. All right. And how many photos for that?
Like 6 foot.
Yeah, you had to crop it. Yeah. Yeah, looks good. Well, on this one, on the pano, most of your cameras, in fact, all of them will have the ability to do a built-in panoramic. But for fun, I wanted you to do it the old-fashioned way, which was, overlapping the photos and then bring them in Demander. Demander's a lot of fun to play with, and I think it allows you to do like social posting and stuff like that. So, and it's free, doesn't cost anything. There are other tools. You can do a stitch in Photoshop as well. The nice thing about Demander is it stitches them together, plus it puts a nice link show for you to share it to those in your circle of influence. So if you get to upload that or finish that, you will not be graded off if it's not uploaded yet, so don't worry about it. I'll give you through Sunday to do that. And if you do need help or it won't upload or whatever reason, send it to me and I'll upload it for you. That's all you need to do on that. All right, cool. So those are the photos I want to look at, the announcements I went over. All right, so we are in week 9. We're going to go over landscape this week. Next week is macro photography, up close photography. The week after that is we'll do a lighting lab. When you come in, we'll have umbrellas here in the room, and we'll have 2 umbrellas actually, and show you how to do photography with lights. And that night, if you want to bring a friend or family member to practice taking photos with, that's great. You can do that. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can do that. Or if you yourself want to volunteer for everybody to take your photo, that's great as well. So however you want to do it. And so that night, the reason we're focusing on portraits with lighting is the week after week 12, instead of having a normal class time, then we'll meet to do a portrait lab. And I will have one of the rooms over in that side of the building reserved for the portrait lab because it's better lighting. And I'll bring the umbrella lights, props, and then I'll ask you to also bring any props that you want to bring for the night. And your family's invited to that as well. So you have a few weeks to invite folks to that. And so those who have little kids, we'll do those first. Kids, families with children first, and then everyone else second. And bring snacks and have a good time and play music and have a good time with that. So that's a few weeks from now. Next week, I'll be giving you an invite, an evite you can send people to invite them to the event. And so if everybody can bring a family friend significant other, that'd be awesome. And so nieces, nephews, grandkids. Some of you might have grandkids possibly. And so anyway, that's going to be week 12. And then right after week 12, we start working on your final portfolio. Final portfolio is week 12 or 13, 14 is working on your portfolio, which before you leave today, if you want to come up and look at some of these portfolios that are in here on what's inside of them. They all have their name, the semester, a resume, one-page resume, some 8x10s, and thumbnails at the end. They all have that. And they also create a digital slideshow of your presentation. And you'll choose a final portfolio, chose a final portfolio to work on, up to 2, I believe, portfolios to work on. And so it's fun. It's a lot of fun. You learn how to do more post editing. One of the things that students always ask is when we bring photos that we already have taken already in the past, you can definitely do that. They don't have to all be new photos for the portfolio. And the purpose of the portfolio is to learn a few things. One is putting together a portfolio, what that's about, how to do that. Putting together a custom resume, even though you might not get a job or want a job in photography, it helps you learn how to do that and to customize it. So I share with you tips on customizing your resume for any job, really. And then thirdly, how to do a portfolio video of all of your images with music in the background and tools that you can use to do that with. And so when you leave the course, you'll have that portfolio to take home with you. And once your family learns you can do video editing with your photos, you'll want to be chosen to take photos and do the video for all your future events. So, all right, so week 9, landscape. So right at the top end, we already talked about this, but complete your panoramics from week 8. I'm going to give you through Sunday to do that, by the way. And that should hopefully be enough time to do that and to complete it and upload it and all that good stuff. And then, does that sound good? Through Sunday to finish that? Great. Notes. Let's look at the notes. And then we got some examples to look at, and then we'll talk about the take home on landscape. So landscape is the next iteration step when it comes to photography. We went over the editing, restoring photos, restoring photos, doing panoramics, now getting into landscape photography. And in landscape, you can be a little bit more creative in your approach to photography, in the fact that with a landscape, you're going to have a lot of different objects in the photo. And the simplest way to take a landscape photo, that first paragraph talks about a smaller aperture number on your camera, which is a larger f-stop, a larger number. As the smaller your aperture, the greater depth of field in your shots. Keep in mind, if you have a smaller aperture, less lighting is hitting the sensor, meaning you can have increasing instability in the camera. And so it's a good idea with landscape to lean against something when you're taking a photo, or use a tripod. But for sure, leaning against something or kneeling down on your, on your knees, basically, to take a photo or something like that. Lean against a tree, a car, something like that, so where your hands don't shake. Because with the smaller aperture number, the camera can have likelihood to shake more. Also, you increase your ISO as well, because you can increase the ISO as well by shortening the shutter speed as well, lengthening the shutter speed as well, or both. And then it gives a note about there's times when you can get great results in a very shallow depth of field. And so this one here is with a shallow depth of field, you basically get a lot of movement in your photo. Like it looks like the water's moving and the fog up near the bank is moving as well with that shallow depth of field. We already talked about tripod. You don't have to get a tripod. If you find a cheap one, that's great. They even do make tripods, by the way, for camera phones as well, and even iPads and tablets. But one of the things you want to look for in a landscape is a focal point. So even though it's a wider length, wider width photo landscape, you're still looking for some focal point within that photo. And one of the things I learned early on in photography and graphics is the needed white space, which we always want to fill in with something normally, right? Naturally. But you want to force yourself to needed white space, open space. And so landscape with or without them could be empty without a focal point. So you're just basically looking at a whole bunch of objects, but not really any one focal point. And so if you don't have a focal point, when you take a photo, the viewer is not going to have a focal point, if that makes sense. Now, some users might not get the focal point all the time, but that's okay. As long as you understand it, that's the main thing. So in this example here, we've got some yellow flowers, and then behind it is the mountain range with snow-capped mountain range. From where you see this photo, what do you think the photographer's focal point is?
The mountains.
The mountains, exactly. The flowers are just a foreground in front of the focal point, which is the mountains. The flowers bring you in to the photo, though, right? They do. They kind of draw you into the photo, and you might not even see the mountains till after you notice the flowers, right? Kind of like the saying, can't see the forest through the trees type of thing. We've all been in situations maybe where we walked into something like, wow, I didn't see that. So you got it right on it or something. And so same thing with, you want your photos to do that, by the way. You literally can't see it till you look at it for a second. Then you see it. That's what you want. If it's so transparent, you probably didn't put much thought into taking the photo. If it's real easy to figure out or real boring, then it's not going to be real interesting. But this one's interesting, right? Because you have both, and almost you think about it, summer, winter, warm, cool, beautiful, majestic. I mean, a whole mixture of emotions and ideas that's all leads to the focal point. So like it says here, not only what the focal point, but where it is placed. Rule of thirds, like in the mountainous region, upper left quadrant is where the mountains are focused. Everything else is leading to that. All the lines and everything are leading to that focal point. So be thinking of foregrounds when you think of landscape, because you have a lot more room to deal with. So if you're taking a picture of the Rock River, it could be a very crude example here, but there's a river, here's a bank here, and then maybe all the bottom half of your image is trees with some flowers and vegetation, and maybe a big boulder here. But this could actually be, the river itself could be the focal point. And so by putting things in front of your focal point, you're going to draw the audience to that focal point. If that makes sense. And so the foreground is important. just a way for, and it doesn't have to be direct lines, just something that's of interest that basically complements the focal point. The sky is important as well. When you're taking a landscape, whether you have a dominant foreground or sky, unless you have one or the other, your shot can end up being fairly boring. If you have a bland, boring sky, don't let it dominate your shot. Place a horizon in the upper third of your shot. However, if you want to make your foreground interesting, if the sky is filled with drama, like a storm, interesting cloud formations, you could, in the middle of that storm, could be one focal point of sunlight shining through. That could be the focal point. So when it's luminous weather and ominous weather, it's really a great time to take photos. Not bright. We always think of bright sunny day is a good time, which it's not a bad time. It's just we miss opportunities sometimes with things that are maybe seeming not beautiful at first. We can see the beauty in it by a sun ray or something coming through. And cloud formations, different colors at sunset. We've all seen stuff like that. And then enhancing skies, either in post-production, which you guys have done that in your last couple assignments, using filters. An easy one is the saturation filter is a good one, and that's available in Pixlr and Photoshop both. And you can naturally change the color without any weirdness to the layout, both of objects and sky to skin tone and everything, as we've learned. So there's a pretty cool shot here of ominous weather and a dark road, and a little bit peak of sunlight as the sun goes down on the lower left corner. So we got a lot going on in this photo. What does your eye first notice when you see this photo? Anybody? Your eye first rests on what?
White line.
On what now?
White line.
The white line in the road, right? It's pretty bright, right? And that's natural for anything in a photo. The bright will hit us first, right? What's the second thing you got? Anybody notice second?
The skies.
The sky?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you can talk about the bright part of the sky or the very top?
Honestly, all of it. But
All of it.
Yeah, I
Cool.
think that the sun is kind of.
And then what about third? What do you guys notice third? Your eyes go to. So far we have the stripes, we have the sky. Anything else? The sun, yeah, the sun, right? And if you think about it, probably more than likely, the photographer's focal point was that little bitty sliver of sun in the lower left corner. Everything else just led to it, right? The road, bright light, bright white stripe, yeah, that's going to lead to it. Because your eyes will follow that road because you immediately know it's a road. Then as you're going down the road with your eyes, you look to the left and notice the sun, right? So again, leading lines, foreground. In this case, the foreground is the road. And you could actually even say the foreground is the clouds in front of that bright or that little spot of sun breaking through the clouds. So just some interesting lines that helps you lead the user to where you want them to go. It's kind of like Steve Jobs used to say with Apple, whether you like him or didn't like him. He used to say, people don't know what they want till they see it. You ever heard that before? Same with your photos or a movie or a good song. You don't know you like it till you hear it, till you see it, till you experience it, right? How could you know? You couldn't. You've never experienced it before. You've never seen it before. Same with your photos. You're creating something that doesn't exist yet with your photo. And it's a capture in time that could make somebody's day, could make your day later on down the road. And so important to think about that when you're taking photos. As far as movement, when thinking of people, when most people think of landscape, they think of calm, serene, passive water in the stream and real birds chirping and a nice sunny day. But as we've already seen, drama, clouds, storms, all make landscapes pretty interesting, right? So wind, which we have no shortage of that in Rockford, right? Zero shortage of wind. Waves, water flowing, birds flying, leaves flying, moving clouds. So capturing the movement means you're going to have a longer shutter speed, because when you have that longer shutter speed, you create movement in the capturing. But because of the longer shutter speed, the light's going to be hitting your sensor more, so smaller aperture and steady hand, whether it be a tripod or just leaning against something. And most of your cameras have, and even your phones have, the anti-shake. They help a little bit. And some of your hands, depending on how much coffee you've had that day, might shake more than others, possibly. Here's a cool one. This is I'll blow this up a little bit. Oop, there we go. So again, real quick, what does somebody see first in this photo? In this photo here, where's your eyes rest at first? The sky. So somewhere in here, right in this area. Where about second? Where's it go second? Immediately. Over to the right. Over to the left. Cool. And what at that? Or third? Where's your eyes go to third? Or do they stop here? Do they wonder what's over here at all? On the other side over here where my mouse is going, you're like, what's over here, right? Why can't I see that?
The bright red light, but coming from the right.
Right here?
I just wonder-
Yeah.
Yeah. What's
Exactly. Yeah. What's over here? And that's another thing a landscape can do. It can draw the user out of the image as well to where you want more, right? And that's always good. You want people wanting more when it comes to your photo or what you do for a living. You want people to want you to keep working, want you to keep doing what you're doing. Same thing with photos. It kind of lives on and in the placement here, because this mountainous region looks pretty, it's there, but you don't really wonder what's over here because it's kind of flat. It's already flat right here, right? Kind of flattened out. But notice here it's building up and you wonder how high does it go? How far out does it go? So again, the bright part of the image is where everybody probably noticed first. And then your eyes kind of floated over here because it's still brighter. And then maybe lastly, over here to the right. So working with weather is important. Understanding not just a sunny day, but a cloudy day, a stormy day will create great opportunities for landscape. Look for storms, wind, mist, dramatic clouds, sun shining through dark skies, rainbows, sunset, sunrise. Even, we have no shortage of it now, even flooding. There's a lot of flooding going on. You can get some good photography of the flooding around the area, documenting that. And, because it's pretty far reaching. It's not just Rockford, but the surrounding areas have a lot of it now. Golden hours. A lot of photographers, including myself, really believe that the golden hours are the best light. And the golden hours basically is going to be around dusk and dawn, about an hour before, an hour from the time the sun comes up and then about an hour before the sun goes down. And so the reason it's the best lighting is all the things pop, all the objects, the leaves, the grass, especially in the morning with the morning dew. It's kind of like just glitter is over everything, kind of. It doesn't have to be rainy, just the moisture of the dew will brighten everything up and make everything look crisper. Also, this photographer here says the other reason they love the times is the angle of light that impacts a scene, because the sun's bouncing across almost like a mirror of dew on the grass and on significantly boring objects. An old rusty car or something could look beautiful with the dew on it and the lighting just right. Patterns, dimensions, kind of almost like a psychedelic kind of prism of light sometimes that they can be created in the morning time. Nighttime can create really good, cool, dark hues of color and red hues of color and blues and yellows that can be really beautiful at night. And then horizons, be thinking this week on your landscape. It's an old tip that says before you take a landscape shot, always consider horizons on two fronts. Is it straight? Well, you can't always make sure your horizons is straight. And you can do in post-production for sure. You can move it around. Compositionally, though, where's your horizon? Remember the 1/3, 2/3. 1/3 sky, 2/3 land, 2/3 sky, 1/3 land, 2/3 land, 1/3 sky. Flip it one of the two. Either more sky, less land, less sky, more land, one of the two. 1/3, 2/3. This here is just a normal road, but notice the photographer got right on the ground, right in between the stripes. Again, perspective makes things look better, right? It's an old, ugly road, asphalt, and it's probably not even that great an asphalt looks like. Just old rock. Maybe it looks like rock cut, the back roads of rock cut possibly, right? But down this low with the beautiful trees, it looks pretty cool, right? Looks like, wow, that's a pretty cool road. And again, just changing perspective and changing position of your camera can push the rule of thirds compositionally. So point of view is a good one. Get out of your car, normally take a photo at a certain spot, try to walk in a different path around that spot. Walk up to the barrier, raise your camera high to the eye, rotate left and right, zoom in a little bit. Get back in the car, go to the next scene. We all done it before. This next week, be thinking of maybe creating a more wow effect with your photos by be thinking of different perspective to take it that maybe you haven't thought of before. And you might drive by it every day, which you probably do, and you see something different and just stop, and that could be the photo that you want to take. More time. None of us have a lot of time, but take more time with your photos. Finding a more interesting point of view, kind of going back to this photo, different point of view, different perspective, changes something insignificant, boring road to something pretty cool and artistic. Environment, experiment with that. Viewpoints, different viewpoints from that photo to take something unique. So that one. Now we're going to look at multiple examples here, and it's on the next page. There's 3 example links. And while we're looking at these photos, I want you to be thinking of what you think, what does landscape photography capture, and what's unique about this type of photography when it comes to landscape. What's unique about landscape photography, basically? And you'll give you a little sentence or whatever at the end of this. You'll post it. So first one is this 36 stunning examples. I'm going to look at amazing landscapes and then some more landscapes. So here's 36 stunning examples of landscape photography. Get the link here. Reload it. There we go. Here's my photos. Yeah, we'll use these. This will work. Okay. Pulling the photo up too well. Or not. You try to do it this way. It's really small. Let's see if I can blow it up. Okay, now this is a landscape, but probably in a different way that you can think of, because it's elongated. It's out instead of this way. But a landscape can be out instead of this way. And so now by looking at this, when I first saw this, it looks like it could be a humongous snake. It's not, but that's what it looks like initially. Until you take a closer look at it, it could be then the wooden bamboo, could be sandbags, a number of different things it could be. I was trying to go up on this one. I'll do it this way. So again, the lighthouse over here, very, very insignificant in the photo, seemingly, but that's the focal point. Everything else is drawing to the wind, the waves, the sun, to this very small little focal point. Another vertical one here. I've always liked photos like this, the old country road or the old country road, probably because I grew up on a farm. The old country road photos with multiple trees that look like they never end. The endless trees, a path of really give a lot of good foreground. And then over here, just a great 1/3, 2/3 shot. You got your 1/3 sky and your 2/3 water land. And we'll just look at these here, a few more. That's another kind of vertical, horizontal, really. It almost looks like the dock is resting on the water. Not really any support system, but we know there is. Okay, let's go to this next one. This way. I'm going to blow it up again this way so it's easier to see it. There we go. Okay, cool. A lot of cool colors in that one. Near sunset. This is pretty cool. No post-production on this. This is a farmland shot overlooking multiple farmlands and rice fields. That look cool. All the different greens and browns, and they landscape landscape down the mountain. And just fields. It's the next one. Really cool pinks and greens, the flowers. And then it keeps going on and on and on, back and back and back and back. And as you're seeing these, be thinking of what you think the foreground or what the object is of the photographer. Again, it can be different for different people too. It doesn't have to be the same for everybody. And like this photo here, all these front foliage is all foreground right here. Look at it. It takes literally 3/4 of the image. The foreground does to capture what's going on back here. Pretty cool photo. A lot of different colors. Probably some post-production in this one. just from the color, richness of the colors, I'm guessing. And then this one's called line of colors. A lot of different lines in this photo. You got a tree line here, you got a mountainous line here, mountain line here, water line, and another top tree down here at the bottom. Sun beating over a mountainous range coming into a valley. Don't know what to say about that. Some type of turtle dragon. Looks pretty cool though. Yeah, this was pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know if it was in Hawaii. I think it was Hawaii. I saw something a while back. It's in Hawaii. It's a tourist location in Hawaii. You guys must have seen it on the news. It looked kind of like this. And they tell people they have it roped off where people can't go down there, but people do, and they actually dive in water like that, right? There've been a number of people. Did everybody see that news piece the last couple of weeks? I think it showed it. It's a real popular place in Hawaii that folks will dive in, right? And then it can be smashed in seconds against the rocks.
To get that picture with the water, is that the aperture has to be small?
Yeah, the aperture is going to have to be a smaller or actually a higher number to let more light in for a longer period. And the shutter speed also needs to slow down to where you allow more movement. So really for this one, probably shutter speed more than aperture. Yeah, the shutter speed, the faster the shutter speed, remember, the more stop motion you get. The slower the shutter speed, the more movement you get. So if you want movement in a photo, I would say mess more with the shutter speed if you want movement. And if you set your camera to shutter priority, it will automatically adjust the aperture for you. Yeah, if you do it that way. And it's a lot easier too on shutter priority because you don't have a lot of time on those fast moving photos to make changes. And that's the nice thing about shutter priority is that it can help you with that. This here is a Spinoso, Italy. A lot of small parse. One of my dream places is Venice, Italy. I've always want to go to. I don't know if I'll ever come back. I always tell my kids if I go, I don't know if I'll come back. You're coming back. I don't know. I don't know if I will or not. So I think it's a beautiful country. But anyway, this one here is called Which Way? Fork in the road, different paths. Probably a cattle paths or some animal. Looks probably looks like cattle path to me. White Mountain. Last one. This was supposed to be 50 mind-blowing examples of landscape photography. We'll see here. It's mind-blowing. They are pretty good, by the way. These are pretty good. I'll say the best for last. All right, this was called the Lavender Sunrise. And on this one, I'm just going to read the title, and I want you to look at the photo. That's it. I'm going to read the title. You look at the photo. And the artist labeled the title on all these, by the way. Sunflowers. That's a lot of sunflowers. Anybody here like sunflowers, by the way? My mom used to love sunflowers. She'd always get a whole bunch of sunflowers every year. And also cat's tails. You guys know what cat's tails are? Cat's tails?
Like the
You've seen them before? They're really tall, about like this, about that big around. They look kind of velvety. So you get cat's tails and the sunflowers at the same time. I think they kind of grow at the same time. A lot of times they grew, where I grew up anyway, they grew up on the side of the road. Deep red. Definitely deep red, yes. Apocalypse Now. Well, if you notice back in here, it's got a whole bunch of thunder back in here. Huh? Yeah. Bamboo forest. Pretty cool. Frozen forest. We've all had enough of winter, right? Springtime, Bolivia. Yeah, it looks like to me it looks like ice, but I might be wrong. It could be sand or something maybe. I don't know. Bolivia, is that a winter region? I don't know.
It's in South.
Where's that? Where?
South America.
South America? Yeah, it might be dry. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it's salt.
Like an
because I think
aerial
I've seen
shot.
Pictures of that where it turns into like a mirror almost.
Pretty cool. Bagging balloons. A whole bunch of hot air balloon rides. And they also have like a castle here too. A couple of big castles over here. The Church of the Good Shepherd. I have this photo at home. It's a really cool one. Tulip field. That's a lot of tulips. Terraced rice field at sunset. Wow. That's pretty. Yeah, it must be an aerial. Has to be. I just saw Bart Simpson in this picture though. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Was it just? Did you guys see that, or is it just me? See Bart Simpson. Yeah, the nose and the head. The head definitely right there, and the nose and mouth. Yeah. Winter. This is a cool winter silence. Look at that. All fog except right in the very middle. Isn't that cool? Springtime. Yes, springtime. Yeah, I think you're right. I think tomorrow's official day. First day.
It actually showed up on time.
3 colors.
It looks like it was taken from a helicopter or.
Yeah, or a drone maybe. Yeah. Symmetry. Huh. Aspen Cathedral. That's a tall one. Trees watching sunrise. Yeah. A lot of farms will have that where they'll have the trees are kind of served as a property line. Property line will have a lot of farms I know around here have that. Yeah. Fields of tea. This is actually tea fields. I like how they had an umbrella they put in here over here. Tea with the umbrella. It almost looks like you just want to fall asleep in that field.
Yeah.
Go sleep in it. Blue pond and first snow. Pretty cool. Autumn with tractor. Oh yeah. Tractor way back there. Labyrinth. It's like a waterway with a guy on a canoe or something. Yeah. Light colors. Wow. I might have put post-production on that one maybe. That's pretty cool though. Tender nature. Ooh, the heart-shaped tree. The Symphony of Northern Lights. Wow. Russell Lupin's Field. Ephemeral morning. Quiet morning. Skagit Valley daffodils. Wow, all daffodils. Bluebell sunrise. Painting of nature. Red District. Lamagid Agabon. A bunch of Magic Forest. Rivian Field. Wow. Pretty good. Look at the fields going up into the sky. The road goes ever on and on. Fields of Gold. Tunnel of Love. Japan Flower Park. Netherlands Flower Park. Wisteria Tunnel of Princess Gardens. In the Mist. On the Fields Appeal. Under a Blood Red Sky. Rain of Spring. Grapeseed in the Tree. Twinkly Mess. Purple. Lost of an Ocean Red. Securus. They thought that it was spring. Black Forest. All right, so there's your 50 mind-blowing examples. So what you want to do in that folder for this week's in class, just write real quick, what does landscape photography capture that's unique from portrait photography? How is it unique from portrait photography on landscape? What's different about it? In your own opinion. How many still working on that? All right, fine. Okay. So we can go on to the take home. All right, easy breezy this week. Landscape. Take 10 photos of 10 different landscape settings and upload them to week 9. Use whatever photo settings deems necessary for that photo. And we've already talked about aperture mode, shutter mode, ISO, those 3 settings. ISO, aperture, and shutter speed are 3 you're going to play with this week. You could also do, if you have manual mode, you can do manual mode and play with your shutter speed and your aperture separately. And then ISO, all 3. You don't want to do that. You can play with just your aperture mode, shutter mode, or all 3 and play around with it. Try to probably take some in the morning, some in the evening, different areas, but it's all your decision on where to take your photos. 10 different photos, 10 different landscape settings. Upload them to week 9 when you're done. Questions on that? Yeah.
For 10 photos, 10 places, is it like 1 each place? So it's like 10 photos?
Yeah, 10 photos of 10 different
So it's like 10 photos.
physical settings,
So
10 different physical,
is that 100 pictures?
10 different actual locations.
Okay, so
10 photos from 10 different locations.
like 100 photos.
No, just 10 photos of 10 different. Yeah, so it's a total 10.
1 photo each.
You know, one photo, one photo from each of the 10 locations. Yeah. So you just need 10 photos. You can do 100 if you want to, but I'm just asking of one photo per location times 10. All right, good question. Yeah.
Like, say if you go to what
Do what now?
if you went to like a forest reserve and went to different spots, would it have like,
Yeah, you can go to Forest Reserve and do them all in one setting.
okay, I didn't know if you were going to like
Just make sure the landscape's a different scene.
drive through it.
So you can be looking this way, take a photo of the landscape. You look this way, you know what I'm saying? You get 4
Right.
photos right now. Yeah, you can be different locations. You don't have to get in your car and drive 10 different locations.
Yeah.
No. Good question. Anything else? Questions on that? So just 10 separate photos from 10 different photo locations, photo settings. And you decide what camera settings you want to use. Again, we went over ISO, the manipulation for this, aperture, and shutter speed. Cool? When you're done, just upload week 9. And I will give an invite to you guys next week. And I want to mention, your piano due by Sunday. If you could get those in, that'd be great. Cool? Awesome. Welcome back to spring break on week 9 on the way down, right? On the way down.
Thank you for giving us time on this.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely welcome. Well, I wanted you guys, and I think I told you, I wanted to spend time without, at least a day or 2 without computers. So I meant it. So, yeah, you're fine.
I wanted to show you this picture I took here, actually. That was in the student center. That was like on the,
Yeah.
carpet.
Yeah, I like that. Nice.
Just the.
Yeah, different perspective. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Different perspective.
It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I did it with my phone.
I think it'd be cool if you go back a few to the starlight. It'd be cool if you got right up to the wall of the starlight. Took one going like up or to the side
Mm.
to see those things. The things they come out from the wall. They get a little bit. Don't they? Those little
Those?
apparatus here. I don't know if they come out from the wall or they're receded. In the
No,
wall.
they receded in the wall.
Okay, it looks like that.
Yeah.
Be cool if it was. Yeah.
Since it still didn't come through for you either, you had said something.
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
manually.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah.
Do I need to check in?
Yeah, I do have a check-in thing here.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Are we graded on our attendance?
Do what now?
Are we graded on attendance?
Are you grading on attendance?
Yeah.
No, I just take attendance.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
have a.
I didn't know if it was.
There is a few classes that I do that, but not in this class.
Oh, okay.
No, but I just use it to make sure that
People are going to-
everybody's here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
basically. Cool. Got to press that green button first.
Is this our iPad?
Mm-hmm. Yep. There we go.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. You're welcome.
But you said that we're gonna keep our portfolios, right?
Do what now?
We will keep our portfolio.
You will keep your portfolio. So I do tell students over the years, if students want to make a copy for me to keep to showcase, you can definitely do that. Yeah, so you can definitely do that if you want to. You don't have to, but a number of students do. All right, so we wanted the
It's in the photography folder.
photography panorama, right?
Yep.
And it's this one here. I'll just drag it all to my desktop and we can upload it. There we go. Thanks, appreciate it.
I don't know why it won't.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's weird. Only thing I could think of, well, like I said, I took out that extra JPEG, right? The only other thing I can think of, it shouldn't matter, is there was a space in the name because there's other ones that are in there spaces in the name.
I tried everything I
Ooh.
could think of.
I have 7 in there now, so somebody must have uploaded one. We had 6 in there before, right?
Yeah, 6 files.
It finally come through.
No, who's this? They just put panorama. This is uploaded to, I think this is the one they uploaded. There was 6. I think this might be the latest one that has only 2 views.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll upload it right now. No big deal.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna ask about that Girls Who Code.
Yeah.
I have, my youngest wouldn't be old enough, she's in 4th grade. So I have 2 girls that would be in the age range.
Okay.
You said you don't have to like register for that? They-
No, they don't. No, they, at this point, we have people register at the front end of the semester. But, yeah, if I know if one of my students or something, I just tell them to bring whoever and show up and we'll start from there.
How far into the year does that go? Because they've got.
We go through May. The first week in May is it. So, yeah, it was all of this month, April, and like the first week in May, I believe, is last week, something like that.
I think they're doing a school play.
Okay.
I think that goes through like the first week of April.
Okay.
So we might be able to catch a couple.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be awesome.
Cool.
Great.
Thanks.
All right. We'll see you. Yes.
So I got a couple of things.
Sure.
Number one, I'm kind of late on a lot of assignments, but I will get those all in.
Okay, great.
Number two, I just realized on our schedule,
Uh-huh.
the lab, I'm going to be in Michigan.
Okay.
And then that other day on the 30th, I think it is,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be in Michigan as well.
Okay. Well, just shoot me an email on those 2
Okay.
days. That'd be fine.
Is there anything I can do to like kind of?
Well, I always record the session so you
Okay.
can make sure to watch the podcast. And then beyond that, not really.
Well, I guess like with the family night type of thing, like.
Yeah, the family night, you can still invite people even though you're not going to be here. You can
Yeah.
invite folks to come if you
Okay.
want. That'd be fine.
Okay.
Cool.
I just want to make sure, yeah. 'Cause-
Yeah, that'd be fine. Just shoot me an email and then just watch the podcast the
Okay.
night of or when you get to it
Cool.
after you get back.
All right.
Sounds good?
Yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Have a good night.
Hey, you too.
It's nice weather.
Yeah.